And here we go. On the 28th day of August, 2023, 6 o'clock straight up, which means it is time for Real Talk Memphis. It is wonderful to be here. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. I am glad you are wherever you are and hope you're doing well in the process. It's been a whole 7 days since we've been here, and we're back and fired up and ready to go tonight after that Level Lola show earlier, right before our show tonight. She's pretty good at this music mix thing. I just, in case you hadn't figured that out, yeah, she's pretty good at all this. And she precedes us each and every Monday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. Now, we are going to, of course, endeavor, as we always do each and every week, to bring you a good quality bit of radio programming. You're asking right now, well, how do I get this so-called good quality radio programming? Well, any number of ways. We're on live right now, 91.7 WYXR on your FM dial, excuse me. We are also on the YXR app. We are on the TuneIn app. And of course, we're on Facebook Live, as we generally are each and every Monday. And when the show is posted tomorrow afternoon, you can also find us on YouTube. And, of course, as a podcast, you can catch us wherever it is you get your podcast. So we hope you do that. Like, follow, share, subscribe. That's always a good formula to have, especially when you do shows like this and you want folks to pay attention. I appreciate all of you who do check us out each and every week. I appreciate those of you who download the podcast, because it's actually a pretty decent show and all of that kind of good stuff. Speaking of, I think we have a good show for you tonight. There's a big day happening on Saturday, September 2nd, coming up into the Labor Day weekend this weekend. The long-awaited official debut of Tom Lee Park opens up on Saturday, and it is a big deal. It's been renovated. It's been completely transformed, and it is quite beautiful from what I'm to understand. We are going to be speaking with the head of the Memphis River Parks Partnership. Her name is Coletta, and she's the driving force behind the renovated Tom Lee Park, and we look forward to talking with her about that, what we're going to be able to experience on Saturday, and just the labor of love it took to bring all of this together, because it's been a long time coming. One of the things that we don't talk about much on this show, or we haven't to this point, is public transportation, meaning MATA. And recently there was a community meeting put together by some local groups and organizations who, quite frankly, are a little bit disappointed in the performance of our public bus line MATA in terms of being on time, in terms of buses breaking down, lack of communication, some not showing up at all. So anyway, they hosted a big meeting where they met with the president and CEO of MATA, and also had Congressman Steve Cohen was a part of that meeting, as well as City Councilwoman Michaela Easter Thomas. So we're going to be speaking with Johnnie Mosley. Johnnie is the founding member and head of Citizens for Better Service. He's going to tell us about this meeting, which I hear was standing room only, and what, if anything, we can gain from that as we look forward into the future. And the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, has been a long and storied organization for decades. Here in Memphis, they recently selected a new president of the Memphis chapter of the NAACP. His name is Kermit Moore. And Kermit's going to join me in just a little bit to talk about, he's been a long-time member of the NAACP. He's seen him come and he's seen him go. And I really am curious to find out in these times in which we live, especially now here in Memphis, what the organization is moving forward to doing to try to make things a little bit better for all of us. So there's your lineup on this Monday evening. Sounds good. I hope you think so by the end of the broadcast. But before we get too far into this, as I do each and every Monday, right about this time, we celebrate you, and we celebrate your current trip around the sun. Now, many of you celebrated over the weekend. Many of you have birthdays today and maybe this week. So this little piece of the broadcast is dedicated for you because we want to shout you out because we know how important it is that you are actually here with us. This mic is a little kind of off. I got to be careful the way I hold on to it here. But I can't do any of that before I say, hit it, Brand.
Happy birthday!
Keep your hands off things, Chip. It works better when you do it like that. Happy birthday. Happy birthday is going out to the following folks. Walter Lovett celebrating today, as is Latasha Shaw. Rose Akins is celebrating her birthday today. Travail Walker, happy birthday to you. Anthony Prather. Dee Dee is celebrating a birthday today. Val Copeland, it is your birthday. Happy birthday to Jack E. Denise Wiley, celebrating today. Happy birthday, Claire Nelson Hick and Kenneth Allen Culp. And because Lola has not rushed over to the mic, one would assume that she's got no birthdays for today. No birthdays. Oh, here she comes, ladies and gentlemen. Level Lola.
I forgot my vacation is because it is my cousin Demetria's birthday on September 1st. Also, my friend Aikisha Griffith. Happy birthday, lady.
Happy birthday to the lady. What vacation? You said vacation? Is it from us or from... Okay. Anyway, since you got those in, ladies and gentlemen, they're important. And happy birthday to each and every one of you. I hope your day's been filled with fun and laughter. And we hope to be with you next year, right around this same time, to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Brand. All right, some news and notes. Well, first, we lost a television icon a couple of days ago. Bob Barker, longtime host of The Price is Right, passed away over the weekend. He was one tick short of 100 years old. He died at 99. And, of course, many of us grew up with him. Many of you all grew up with him as well. So, gave us a lot of pleasure and joy on TV for a very, very, very long time. Also, former governor of the state of Tennessee, Don Sundquist, died, I believe it was yesterday, at the age of 87. So, of course, anytime, we leave this world and transition into the better place, we always wish that your memories will always be a blessing. So, we constantly deal with crime in our city. And, lately, of course, a lot of the focus has been on downtown. Because of what happened 3 weeks ago when 8 people got shot down there. So they've got barricades down and a special pedestrian way of getting around down there. 3 o'clock yesterday morning, not in that area, but in another part of downtown, 3 people were shot. 1 was killed. In this particular area, somebody said it sounded like a bomb going off. So many shots were being fired down there. So, again, you start to think you're handling one part of the city, and then all of a sudden, they said, well, that's fine. We don't need to go down there. We go down there and start some trouble. So that's what they did. They went to move to another location, and unfortunately, a life was lost early yesterday morning. A very tragic scene in Jacksonville, Florida, where a man walked into a Dollar General store with the specific aim of killing black people. This has been classified as a hate crime. The young man was a white male. He was 21 years of age. And he walked in the store, specifically targeted 3 African Americans, black folks, whichever term you use, in situations like this, and killed them all. Then he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. In the subsequent investigation, police found out that this was a hate crime. He had some very negative information on his computer and his manifesto, about black folks, and that he preferred them not be here rather than be here. So again, another very troubling situation. And in case you thought that there was no hate in this country, when you think about situations like that, you might want to think again. As far as there's a big storm. I can't remember, Idella or something to that effect, hanging off Cuba that is heading right toward Florida and really heading up to the Florida Panhandle. Could be making landfall on Wednesday. Florida is used to this kind of stuff, but they're taking this one pretty seriously. It could be pretty strong. Could be a Category 3 when it hits land. Sometime on Wednesday, maybe around Tallahassee, maybe south of that, maybe around Tampa. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on that and watch and see how all of that goes. There was a press conference on Friday with Benjamin Crump. He is representing two families who have lost loved ones here recently. One, of course, is DeJarvion Hudspeth. I'm trying to find my information here. Jarvion Hudspeth, it was the gentleman who was stopped by a Shelby County Sheriff's deputy for a stop, and they released the video on that on Thursday evening. I don't know how many of you saw it or not, but there's a lot of questions still in reference to this. More questions than answered. We don't know what predicated the stop. But you know, there are a lot of other circumstances here. The young man did comply. The officer asked him to get out of the car. He got out of the car. Told him that you know, he checked the vehicle, asked him if he had anything in it. The young man did say he had a firearm in the car, so around here that's no big deal. So and then things escalated from there. The trooper asked him to go to the back seat of his trooper and wait until he searched the car. The young man got back in his car, drove off. The trooper wound up inside the vehicle. I would imagine trying to stop the vehicle at some point in time. He fired a shot. Apparently, the trooper did. It struck the young man. The young man crashed out. The deputy was ejected from the vehicle. A lot of questions about this. You know, Benjamin Crump is here to work with the family to see if they can't get down to the bottom of all of this. But again, a lot of questions I have in reference to all of this and the actions of the young man in particular that day. He is also representing, Crump is Courtney Ross. And Courtney was the young man who was found rummaging through some garbage and other things, you know, in a certain part of town. He was looking inside cars. Suspicious behavior. Police were called. A short chase ensued, and Courtney, I guess, was complaining because he was very tired and exhausted. Law enforcement called an ambulance. It took him to the hospital, and on the way to the hospital, he died. So, to say the least, suspicious circumstances. So that's another investigation as well that we will keep our eye on and pay attention to. Congratulations going out. We never talk about the city of Bartlett. I live in the city of Bartlett, by the way, but we never really talk about it because there's not a whole lot to talk about. But congratulations going out to the newly appointed Bartlett alderwoman. Her name is Monique Williams, and she is a chef and a restaurant owner and the first black in the history of Bartlett to be named as an alderwoman on that board. She was picked last Tuesday from about 12 or 13 applicants, and she replaces Alderman Bobby Simmons, who stepped away because of health reasons. So congratulations to Monique Williams setting the course out there. So we'll see, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck as time moves forward. And I don't think a lot of us remember this day in history, but this is this day in history fact. 60 years ago, on August 28th, 1963, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King led the March on Washington and gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. 60 years ago on this date. And before I take my first break, I just have a I wonder question, and I wonder if he was still alive today, what he would think of the state of our country today, some 60 years later. But that was 60 years ago today. That wraps up news and the notes on this Monday evening. I'm going to take my first break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the broadcast. What do you say? We're going to talk a little bit about public transportation and what some of the issues are involving that. I'm Chip. You know who you are. We're going to take our first break of the night, and we'll be right back. Don't you go away.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Goner Records is proud to sponsor WYXR. The 20th Goner Fest is coming to Rail Garden Thursday, September 28th through Sunday, October 1st, featuring bands from all over the globe, including the OCs, the Gories, the Mummies, Coffin, Sweeping Promises, Marked Men, and over 20 more bands and DJs. Ticket and streaming information at gonerfest.com.
The third annual Record Swap and Zine Fest, hosted by the Memphis Listening Lab and Crosstown Arts, is coming up soon on September 2nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and September 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Crosstown Concourse with free admission. Vendors will have new and used vinyl records, CDs, cassette tapes, and other music memorabilia. The fest will also feature local zine makers and zine creation booths. For more information, email info@memphislisteninglab.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. A beautiful day, by the way, don't you think? Absolutely gorgeous today. We're not dealing with 100-degree temperatures, mid to upper 80s. Very, very nice indeed. So, and before I step into the interviews, I want to say hello to the Facebook Live folks that are on the line right now. Michael Harris, I see you. Jay Worth, my man, I see you down there, as well as my brother Michael Washington, all the way from Los Angeles, California. And Sarah Gum, just to name a few. Let me see. Folks get irritated when I miss them. Oh, Lillian Walker is also checking us out. Appreciate you. So listen, we were talking about something that really, for many, many people, is their relied source of getting around this city. And that is, of course, the MATA and our bus transformation, our bus transportation. They've had some issues. I think it's fair for all of us to say that they've had some issues and many issues, in terms of routes and buses being on time and a lot of other things. Well, there's an organization who pretty much got kind of fed up behind all of this and decided that they wanted to call to the carpet the president and CEO of MATA, and brought along some heavyweight friends like Congressman Steve Cohen. Well, Johnnie Mosley was one of the organizers of this. He is the founding member of Citizens for Better Service, and he joins us tonight. They had their meeting last week, and I contacted Johnnie and I said, you know what, I want to find out more about this, and I want to let other people know about all of this. So first of all, Johnnie, great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for allowing us to come here and offer some interpretation on what's going on as far as bus transportation is concerned.
Now, you have said that this is an ongoing problem, and it has been for quite a long time. A lot of folks, have a lot of complaints, and many of them valid, about MATA. But you had gotten to the point now where you felt it was necessary because of a lot of the complaints, and you had more questions than answers. So you organized this big meeting that you had last week. What was the reason behind that?
Well, first of all, the purpose of the whole meeting was to, number one, was to allow the ridership to express themselves what problems they have been having while riding public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
the Memphis Area Transit Authority has heard from me. They've heard from, of course, my group, Citizens for Better Service. They've heard from the Memphis Bus Rider Union, the MICA people. But it was time for the Memphis Area Transit Authority to hear from the ridership who are going through a great deal of pain riding the bus just to get to work or just to get to school, just to get to the doctor's office. And because we have, as an organization, have attended the meetings, the matter board meeting, we have addressed the Memphis City Council, we have addressed the county commission. We have even written letters even to Mayor Strickland and asked them to really look into these situations. But we felt that the time was now to call on our Congressman Steve Cohen, to get involved, so he can actually hear what's going on, because our Congressman has been working hard over the years to make sure that Mallard get millions of dollars to make sure that people have adequate and first-class bus service in this town.
What when you met with Mr. Rosenfeld the other day, what were some of the complaints that you had, and what did he admit to in terms of some of the problems? But first, kind of lay out some of the issues that you all had as a group.
Well, the issues are many, but the main issue is that, number one, you have bus riders getting stuck at the bus stops for up to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
You have, and it's hot outside and no waters, and so people are struggling, waiting for at least up to 3 hours in some places. Secondly, you had a situation where Matter has engaged in bus route cuts, especially in the inner city area like Boxtown, North Haven, Firestone. Now, I can say for Boxtown, Matter did incorporate one bus into the bus that they cut. I think it was a 38 cross down, and they incorporated part of that route into a bus called the 69. For the people in Firestone, which is in North Memphis and North Haven, they no longer have any regular bus service. Now, there is something called an on-demand service, which is supposed to act like it's an Uber service, but that is sort of like a pipe dream. People are complaining about calling the on-demand service or going online to get the on-demand service, and they're not getting the adequate service as it is. Citizens for Better Service has never been really in favor of the on-demand service, but we thought that if Matter just put the on-demand service out there, Matter would also keep the regular bus routes in that area,
right, so
people can get back and forth. So on-demand service, is just a service for a small van. It may hold up to about 8 people.
Okay.
But you get a big bus that's going to hold more than 8 people. So we were saying keep the regular service out there in those areas. So the bus service is not in those areas. So you got that going on.
Yeah.
You have a lack of bus shelters. You have a lack of a printed bus schedule. Matter no longer has printed bus schedule. They're telling everybody they need to go online. Well, first of all, a lot of people don't know how to go online. Even if they go on their telephone and go on the Matter website, it is not customer friendly. You got to go all over the place to try to find the bus that you're looking for. A bus schedule would be easier for people to be able to get to find out what time the bus is from.
Now, Johnnie, when you addressed some of these issues as pertains to the leadership at Matter, I'm curious to find out what Mr. Rosenfeld said. I'm sure he understood your issues, but what did you feel like he was really listening to the conversation? What was your takeaway?
Well, let me put it this way. Prior to it getting to that point, as I said, we have attended the meetings and we have addressed the meetings to him as well as the Matter leadership, the board, as well as Memphis City Council. Prior to that, we were saying to Matter, you need to go ahead and fix these issues. We think that the ridership field that Matter has turned a deaf ear to there. Well, it has turned a deaf ear to us and told us, well, there's only a few people who are complaining. So I was like, okay, if that be the case, that's why it was necessary for us to have this meeting, and that's why it was necessary to bring in people. Because one thing Matter likes to say is that they're suffering from a lack of funding from the state, federal level, and the city level. They're saying that the money has not kept up with the inflationary costs. We understand everything goes up, but at the same time, we're saying that there are some common sense ways to deal with issues. If people are waiting on the bus, there's nothing wrong with having a supervisor driving up and down the street and say, look, your bus has broken down. We're doing everything in our power to make sure that you'll be able to get to where you're going. We're going to either get you another bus or we're going to take you to the nearest bus stop where you can make a connection to get on the bus. Sure. That's the way Valley used to do back in the day. But now the communication is not there. And we're saying that, okay, you got dollars and cents. We want you to use common sense and provide these people adequate bus service.
Was he receptive to that? Was he receptive to what you all had to say?
I don't fear that to be the case. Now, we're going to do a follow-up. Now, we just didn't just have a meeting. We actually left him about a 12-page report of some things that we want him to do, and we want him to do it in a timely basis. And we're going to do a follow-up. We hope to do a follow-up meeting with the administration. But we're not going to stop there because if push comes to shove, I've heard from Mayor Strickland, and if push comes to shove, we're definitely going to get Mayor Strickland involved. And Mayor Strickland even talked about how he has increased funding for Matter over the years that he has been in office. I think it's a lack of priority. Matter needs to start prioritizing how they're going to spend money. Secondly, the president and CEO of Matter get to pick his own administration, which is more than right. But you have people on that administration who are not from Memphis, so they don't know the culture of Memphis. And so what the matter is, they don't have the same feeling of Memphis. So basically what we're saying is real simple. And all the issues that are going on, the most important issue is dignity. Yeah. The people who ride the bus are not being treated with a sense of human dignity and respect. They're being ignored.
Well, I mean, it takes things like this to galvanize and get attention. I heard it was a standing room only effort, and I'm up against the clock. But I want you to do me a favor. Keep me posted as to what happens next here. If what type of action you're going to get. How the congressman is going to be involved in this effort as well, because this is very important. There is a certain population of our people here in this city who heavily rely on Matter to get across town, to get to work, and take care of a lot of other things. So, Johnnie, will you do me a favor and stay in touch with me on this, because I think this is something that we need to stay on top of.
Definitely weird, and because we want to make sure that people that actually can get to their destination. That's all they want. They don't want anything else. They don't want anything less. They want to be able to get to A to B. That's it. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show.
Johnnie, thank you for coming on the show, and we'll be talking down the road, okay? In the meantime, you take care and be careful out there.
Thank you.
So, that's a big issue, ladies and gentlemen, and, that's something a lot of us don't think about. Let's be honest about it. A lot of us don't think about it like we should, but getting around for a lot of people is a challenge. And organizations like Johnnie, Citizen for Better Service, the leaders of Matter and a lot of these other places need to be held accountable. And that is what they are doing. Thank you for being on the show. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the NAACP with its new president right here on this edition of Real Talk Memphis for a beautiful Monday evening. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Independent Bank, celebrating 25 years of sharing stories, building dreams, and serving heroically. More information regarding how iBank can help you achieve your financial dreams at i-bankonline.com. Member of FDIC. WYXR is supported by Memfo, presenting Green Sky Bluegrass at Minglewood Hall on Thursday, November 16th. This is an all-ages show and will include an opening set by Lindsay Liu. Ticket information and availability at memfopresents.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And before I get to my guest, the reason I'm laughing is in the last segment, I have a good looking crew. I mean, they're all good looking people. Lola is an attractive woman, and Bryn is on the board here. And we have a glass, kind of you can look in through the glass. And he has some admirers out there, and they were like running back and forth trying to get his attention, tapping on the window, and I was just like, oh, isn't this cute? All these folks, all this attention going on around here. But I digress. Good-looking folks, man, ladies and gentlemen. So my next guest is a man who has been in the trenches, I should say, for a very long time. At the top of the show, I mentioned that this was the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington and the great I Have a Dream speech delivered by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. I was thinking about Kermit, when I was talking about that. Kermit Moore is my next guest, and he has been a longtime member of the Memphis chapter of the NAACP. He was recently selected as their new president, and he joins me tonight. And Kermit, it's great to see you. Congratulations, and thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chip. Thanks for having me.
So, as stated before, you've been in this battle for a very long time. And, of course, you're succeeding Van Turner, who, stepped away as he's running for mayor of the city of Memphis. And you and I talked offline a little bit, and I kind of wanted to know from you, what you're seeing today. And more importantly, what is the role, or what would you like the role of this current edition of the NAACP to be as we continue to move forward, dealing with some of the challenges that we see in our city today?
First, let me tell your audience what our mission is.
Okay.
Our mission is to achieve equality, political rights, and social inclusion by advancing policies and practices that expand human and civil rights, eliminate discrimination, and accelerate the well-being, education, and economic security of Black people and all people of color. My goal is to have a clear message of the relevance of the NAACP today. We are still fighting structural discrimination, unjust policing, prosecution, incarceration, practices that unfairly impact our communities. Reform is needed to build a just system.
Now, having said that, what as you, from your purview, from your lens, where are we, as a city? Where are we as a community? We obviously know that crime is clearly the number one issue on everybody's mind. But from your purview, where are we as a city? And have we slipped a few notches in your estimation from years gone by?
Definitely we have slipped. we are falling behind as a city. We must invest in our youth. Crime is a problem. It's a problem all across our metropolitan area.
Mm-hmm.
And until we address education, low-wage employment, and all these other discriminatory practices that we have, we can hire all the police that they say we need. Police, and I'm not anti-police, but police aren't the true answer to our crime problem. We have to address the root causes. Is poverty, lack of education, and the lack of good paying jobs.
As president of the NAACP, what do you see the role of the NAACP in reference to the things you just addressed? What do you think the role of your organization should be moving forward now?
We must be at all council meetings, commission meetings, school board meetings, and ensure that funding is relocated to the community, to build our communities, to give our youth something to do. We can't reach out to our youth when they get 12, 13 years old. We have to touch them when they're 7, 8, 9, 10, giving them things to do, showing them that with an education, you can get out of poverty. You ain't got to sell drugs. You ain't got to rob, steal, and kill. But we have to show them something different. And we got to be visible in our community. The NAACP, our other nonprofits, our churches got to come away from the four walls and get in the street. And our community has to start being communities again.
There seems to be a disconnect, and I know that one of the things that you talked about in terms of law enforcement, there's a mistrust that I don't think anybody would argue these days between the community, and law enforcement. We're seeing acts that occur every day that to many of us don't make a lot of sense. Now, I talked about Dr. King and this being the 60th anniversary of his March on Washington. Now, you've been, on some of those marches in the past. When folks gather like this, in mass, in with hundreds of people, or thousands of people, and things like that, what should be the underlying message of why you all are getting together? And, as we remember Dr. King, I asked the question earlier, what would he think about our country today? What do you think he would think about our country today?
Well, I really don't know what Dr. King would think. But, Chip, you and I have seen our country go backwards. We're still fighting. The March on Washington, August 28, 1963, was a march for jobs and freedom. We came out of that march. A couple of years later, we got the Voting Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Fair Housing Act. We got the Civil Rights Act. And today, we have the Superior Court of the land taking back things that we strive to win.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a fight today like never before. It's no different. It's worse, if you ask me, than in 1963. Because in 1963, my parents saw what they was going up against. They had to fight it head on. We got people hiding behind different organizations that fund our elected officials to spew hate and to do things to take away our rights.
When you break it down like that, and you bring it closer to home. Of course, we're talking about our city here in Memphis, and we have a consequential election. This is the last thing I want to ask you about. We have a very consequential election coming up October 5th. Early voting starts September 15th. A lot of people don't seem to think that it is too important to go out to the polls. We have proof of that in past elections where we've seen 20, 25%, maybe 30% of all registered voters actually take time to go and exercise their right to vote. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I would solicit all registered voters to get out and vote for the mayor of your choice and for the council of your choice. The people who get elected on October 5th will be representing the entire city for the next 4 years. We cannot sit back and let 10% of the electors make decisions for us. If we continue to do that, we will not make progress. We have to get out and vote, take friends, family, and our youth need to be mobilized. Nothing changes in this country without youth. In 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King was still a young man when he gave the iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. But let me not take a moment to give kudos to Asa Philip Randolph, who started the March on Washington movement in the 1940s, and his protege, Bayard Rustin, for being the chief strategist for that March on Washington in 1963.
Kermit Moore, the new president of the Memphis chapter of the NAACP. Kermit, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for your passion, and thank you for your words. And of course, we'll be following you, and we'll be following the NAACP during this very critical time. Thanks for taking time to come on the show tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
God bless.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a consequential time for all of us. And we must understand this, and we must not be deterred from our mission, because there is a constant mission that we are facing each and every day here. And voting is really the number one issue that we need to be faced with right now. Whether or not you don't think your vote counts, just look in your history books. Go down the path, and you'll find out that votes do count, they do matter, and they are important. We're going to take a final break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a grand opening, unlike any grand opening we've ever seen here in the city of Memphis. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Church Health's Memphis plan continues its decades-long commitment to serving local musicians with comprehensive health care and also tailors its focus to small business owners and the self-employed. Healthcare through the Memphis plan provides care in Memphis for Memphians. Related services include preventative health, optometry, dental care, and more. More information regarding availability at memphisplan.org or at 901-272-PLAN.
WYXR is supported by Memfo, presenting Green Sky Bluegrass at Minglewood Hall on Thursday, November 16th. This is an all-ages show and will include an opening set by Lindsay Lou. Ticket information and availability at memfopresents.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis for this Monday evening. Chip with you, and our next guest. I would almost phrase her as an architect. We have a crown jewel in this city. Many of us know, all of us know, especially the folks who've lived here for any period of time. It's Tom Lee Park, and Tom Lee Park has undergone a complete renovation. And it's taken a lot of work and a lot of laborers. It's a big labor of love. And I wanted to find out more about all of this with Carol Coletta. Carol is the executive director, president, head of the Memphis River Parks Partnership. And she joins me now. And Carol, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me. We're excited. It's a big week.
This is a big week. Saturday, September 2nd is the day that you are targeting for the grand reopening of this park. Why is this so special? Why is this such a memorable day in our city?
Well, we have a riverfront that I think in many ways is unmatched in terms of a location on the world's most storied river. It's the Mississippi River at its widest and wildest at Memphis. And we've never been able to do much with our riverfront because it's really a tough riverfront to work with. And I've watched, riverfronts and waterfronts all over the world. And to finally get a chance to do something meaningful with 30 acres on our riverfront is so exciting. So, and it's the part of our riverfront that is very accessible from both downtown as well as some very distressed neighborhoods just beyond downtown. So it's sort of the perfect piece of real estate. I would bet, Chip, no one in Memphis and no one thinking about investing in Memphis, whether it's your time, your talent, your money, whatever it is, does so without seeing this particular piece of property. So to convey at that place, Tom Lee Park, an ambitious Memphis, I think is so meaningful. And we also get a fabulous park in the bargain.
And you talk about it, and it's a showplace, and this is one of the the prime pieces of our city, and this is what people see when they come here. How important was that for you as you all were developing this and putting this into fruition?
Well, we manage 5 miles of riverfront on behalf of the city of Memphis, so we had a lot of places we could have worked, but this truly is the best connected, most accessible to people across a broad set of demographics. And it is probably the most seen piece of property on the riverfront, and therefore the most, it has the opportunity to attract the most attention and the most visitors. So that's why it made sense to start or to move next to Tom Lee Park.
You have, and this project has gotten the attention of national publications and magazines, and it really has. This is really a big deal. I would say for our city at a time when we really need a positive big deal. What is, in terms of the coverage and in the anticipation of the new Tom Lee Park that has gotten so much attention, do you think?
Well, you're right. We've had not only national attention, but international attention in a number of design magazines, news publications, international podcasts like Monocle Magazine. I mean, it's really been remarkable how the international press has responded to this design. And we were really fortunate to hook up with two among many fabulous architecture and landscape architecture firms, Studio Gang based in Chicago and Scape based in New York, both of which they're both headed by women. They're both headed by women who've been on the Time Magazine 100 Most Influential Americans. And
that's big.
To
that's
work
really big.
with that kind of talent in Memphis, I think is very significant. And it's not that and plus we had internationally recognized artist, the Astor Gates, doing a new piece in the park, along with James Little, who had was so generous and gave us a piece to adapt to the new court underneath the Sunset Canopy. So you put all that together, it's really an A++ team, and they have really, I think, knocked it out of the ballpark. They both firms, I think, are feeling like this, this is work to be touted by their firms among many fabulous projects they're doing, and to have Memphis elevated in that way again puts us on a list of cities that are ambitious, that believe in good design, that believe in ambitious public space, that have a spectacular waterfront to work with. And despite, as you say, some trouble, never want to minimize your problems, but every city has problems. I've worked all over the world, trust me. And we've got to be able to both address our problems and seize on our opportunities. This is a good way, certainly to seize on our opportunities, and I would say even to address some of our troubles.
Now that we are, at the finish line here, Carol, what do you want the takeaway to be, in reference to this multi-million-dollar project? What would you like the takeaway to be after all?
Well, of course, I want everyone to love it and feel at home and feel like it's theirs. That's obvious. But also the most common, in fact, today we had this, the most common comment we get from people who see the park for the first time say, I cannot believe Memphis did this. And I want to wipe away. I want Memphians to think we can and will do great things. It's all possible here. It's just a matter of our, getting it together, organizing, being ambitious. Don't let the naysayers hold us back. Don't let the trivializers keep us down. Sure. Let's be ambitious for our city, and that's what we've been at Tom Lee Park.
So Saturday, this all kicks off at what time? Noon, I believe. Is that what the
it kicks off with a fabulous parade down the Cutbank Bluff, led by Lucky 7 Brass Band at 11:30.
Okay.
We'll get to the bottom of the bluff, and we'll have a few remarks. The ribbon will be cut. We'll process through the park and make it to the Sunset Canopy for an interfaith ecumenical blessing of the park with Tennessee Mass Choir. And then we will go down to the second original Tom Lee sculpture where the outstretched hands, Tom Lee and a survivor, are stretching hands for him to save drowning people in the Mississippi. And we'll have a water ceremony there. And then the whole park lights up, double Dutch, juggling, circus acts.
This is
Latin dance, volleyball, basketball skills, dancing at night, Gary Goins band. It's going to be fabulous. It goes until 9 o'clock Saturday night.
Okay.
And then the activity continues on both Sunday and Monday.
Well, I tell you what, this is really quite the endeavor, and they picked the right one. I can tell you that, and because your excitement and your enthusiasm, not only for the project but for the city, is very infectious. Congratulations. Congratulations to you and all of those who put in the hard work to get to where we are now, and we look forward to this being a showcase for many years to come. Carol, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And,
come Saturday.
Yeah, I might just swing down there through you. You got me all excited now, so I may come down and see you. But thank you, Carol. I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that puts a wrap on this edition of Real Talk Memphis. And I tell you what, man, Townley Park, and that's going to be exciting. Big time, big opening. And we hope that, folks go down to truly appreciate it for what it is. Now, I don't usually do this, but before I get out of here, I listen a lot on social media. I'm always on Facebook. I'm always kind of watching and listening. I'm in this radio thing and trying to see what folks are thinking and saying. And I sort of befriended this cat called, his name is Jay Worth, GKP. His moniker is, y'all already know who it is. And many of you, after me just saying that, probably know exactly who I'm talking about. Well, Jay, a very talented young man, in terms of production, and he knows his stuff. And he and I chop it up about some of the challenges that we are dealing with in our city and a lot of other things that are going on. And you really need to go and watch him every now and again. He has this street preacher way of talking to people and talking about us as a city. He doesn't talk about us, in a negative way, but he does point out some of the issues and some of the challenges that we're dealing with. And he did one yesterday, I believe it was, that was just so powerful. I had to call him last night and say, man, preach on, preacher. Because we need folks to tell the truth about what is happening around here. We all love our city. We live here. We work here. We have families. We do our business here. And as Bryn plays this out, it is important for us to not ignore what is happening out here, because all of us have a responsibility to make things better for the rest of us. And we're dealing with some pressures and some challenges out here. But you know what? If we don't talk about it, then nothing will get done. And if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Jay is part of the solution, and I salute him for everything that he does to bring forth some of the issues that are going on out here. Strong brother, you should check him out. As for us, thank you for checking us out this evening. Thank you for following us. Thank you for supporting this show. I always ask you to go out and tell somebody about what we're doing if you like what we do, because I really enjoy being here each and every Monday night with you from 6 to 7 p.m. So for Bryn, for Nicole, and for Lola, I'm Chip. Please be careful. Please be safe. And we look forward to seeing you soon. We